Hey there, I'm Kevin Downey, and I run a boutique agency called Kevin M. Downey, where we help B2B companies with their sales and marketing efforts. You can visit our website at kevinmdowney.com. All right, today's video, tips for getting more scheduled calls and appointments with prospective clients in B2B. So if you watch the other videos, obviously I'm going to tell you need to drive inbound leads. Email is the most powerful thing out there, which it is. And I'm going to walk through that, but there's one thing in particular, even with our clients, as successful as email is for them in general, some are more successful than others, of course, but as successful as it is, there is one thing that really is indicative of whether or not a client is going to get a huge ROI out of email and be a long-term client for us as an agency. So we've been running email for over 4 years. We have a couple of clients now that are over 45, 46 months with us running email. And again, some clients 2-3 years now, a little over a year, that kind of thing. But then you get a lot of newbies and some come and go quickly, right? I want to explain to you the difference between those because they all get, relatively speaking, similar performance in terms of lead gen, inbound leads. But there's one critical component that really makes a difference in getting ROI out of those leads and turning them quickly into customers. But let's backtrack a little bit. First things first. If you're a B2B company, you want to do one of two things to generate leads these days, and it's not with sales reps in the United States that are $75,000, $100,000 base salary. That is not going to work. Again, if you've watched my other videos, unless you have account executives, account managers that are going to have a long-term relationship with those customers, and there's a limited number of prospects for them to go after, then that's perfectly fine. In that kind of situation, sales reps in the United States, they should go build their own territory, their own customer base, go get them, and that's great. But generally speaking, I'm talking about everything else where, it can be account executive, account manager, where you've got a massive prospective customer list to go after out there, or your sales reps, when you're selling, it's a one and done situation for sales. It's a hunter sales kind of role where, they get a scheduled call, they maybe do a call or two, do a proposal or a quote, they send it, it's a yes, no thing, and they're done. Once the client is signed, they aren't working with that customer anymore. I deal with that kind of situation a lot. So you've got two different ways you go about this. First, you don't want sales reps on salary doing cold calling. That makes no sense. You're going to do one of two things. The first step is you've got to generate inbound leads. You've got to generate leads. How do you do that? First, with email, if your prospect list is big enough, like I've talked about in another video. Second way is a BDR team. Latin America, Southeast Asia, a lot less expensive. Get your prospect list, build them a process, phone, voicemail, email, LinkedIn, have them do that cold outreach, generate inbound leads, and eventually schedule calls for you or your sales team, right? So that's how you drive those inbound leads. So that's the most important thing on the front end. But when we talk about, let's say, email, very powerful to drive inbound leads. Having a reply for those leads, because usually we're trying to elicit a response. So they say, yes, Kevin, go ahead and send that PDF with your programs and pricing. And we have a prepared follow-up that we send to them, right? So it's a follow-up. It's got the basic information, maybe a PDF with the program and the pricing, and then a call to action to do a scheduled call with, say, me, right? Or principal, sales team, whatever the case is. We want that call to action to be a scheduled call in most cases in a B2B scenario. What happens though is with a lot of companies, if it's a really tiny startup, let's say, they have no sales reps yet, principals are doing it, they will get on the inbox and they will reply to the leads, and that's it. They don't do any follow-up by phone. There's nothing else that happens, and that is the critical component, right? So when we train reps that, for clients that come in with us, especially our clients that have a sales team or an SDR, BDR team already established, we get those inbound leads from email. We teach them, reply to those leads and hit them on the phone immediately. Follow up with them. Dig in while the iron's hot and ask questions. Find out about their pain point. Gather intel. Move them further along in the process. And then you can get them scheduled a lot more often, a lot more quickly, and ultimately that leads to a much higher ROI from those marketing efforts. So where do I see the weakness, right? The weakness in our clients that maybe some stick a while, right? Or they go and hire an SDR right away because they see the importance of it. But sometimes our clients come in and they're just a startup, or it's just a couple principals of partners, and they get the leads and then they send a reply email and they give them a call to action, but they stop there. They don't know what else to do, or they don't want to make the calls. That is not going to work in the long run in most cases, right? Sometimes the dollar figures are high enough you can make that process work, and we have a couple of clients that do that. But at the end of the day, the follow-up is the most critical component to really make it turn. So our long-term clients have a sales team on those inboxes. They have a dedicated SDR or SDR team on those email inboxes. They are getting those replies. They are sending the stuff to those people. They're putting them in the CRM, and bang, they're hitting them on the phone right away to try to touch base again while the conversation is hot, while they're moving on it. And the prospect's a lot more likely to dig in and want to deal with it right after they replied than if you wait a week or you never follow up with them on the phone, right? So very, very critical part of B2B success, even if you can generate leads, is follow-up. Got to have the right team in place and the people in place to do that follow-up with those leads and do it right away. You can't wait, right? So that's the most important thing. If you have any questions, reach out to us, kevinmdowney.com. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.